Alright guys, today we're going to go out and do some highway riding. It's a little bit of a challenge, a little different than riding in the rain, and I'll talk to you about it when we get out there, but you really gotta always be geared up. So I ride with full padded pants, I got the right shoes on, I've got Under Armour on, and with some pads. Also have my Tech 5 airbag, and that's kind of how I roll, a little bit geared up. Anyway, let's go do it. Alright, let's go for a ride on the highway. I don't like riding on the highway. I consider that a necessary evil. Don't like it. Those guys that like riding, I mean, there's some guys that like it, that's for sure. I've seen them on YouTube. They like racing on the highway. I'm a big fan of it. I'll watch it, but I don't think it's very smart. Better places to go fast, like the racetrack. That's a really good place to go fast. That good of a place on the highway, racing your buddies. So anyway, so here we go. So, risk assessment for riding on the highway. Well, first thing, it's a heavy, high risk riding on the highway with a bunch of other cars. And for an intermediate or beginner rider, well, that's kind of scary. You know, I'm usually riding on the highway. I'm on the way somewhere. I'm on the way to go to a good road and have some fun. Usually, not my ride is the ride on the highway. I mean, there's some cruiser dudes that like it. They go out all the time on the highway and cruise across the country, and not big into it. But hey, you do you. You like it? Go for it. Yeah, maybe I can get you some tips. I mean, I've ridden a lot on the highway. I've had a lot of close calls on the highway. When I'm talking highway, I'm talking about a freeway like I-5. And I've been up and down I-5 a few times. So anyway, I remember at the time there's a guy. I'm kind of married up with this dude that was, I got an adventure bike, and this was back in the day, and he had panniers with stickers from all over the place. And he was a long distance rider, and I stopped and chatted with him at a rest stop, and he was going from, I think, South America all the way up to Alaska. And so that was his kind of ride that he wanted to do. Don't know if I'd want to do it, but he was having a pretty good time. But he is fast. I remember he was a fast rider on the highway. And when I say fast, I mean he was doing a lot of weaving in and out, and really pushing it. Just not a big fan of pushing it on the highway. I mean, there's too many cops, number one. Too many of these guys right here hanging out. Nothing good gonna happen next to a truck. Nothing. Going in, advice with riding on the highway, stay away from the trucks at all costs. I mean, if you have to, and you'll watch when I'm on the highway, I'm just not engaged with the truck anywhere near them. I'm not going by them slowly. I'm passing them pretty fast. Looking for places where I'm not getting trapped by them in between two other trucks. I'll never get trapped in between two trucks. That's just not going to happen. This is usually the start of a ride. It kind of goes from in the city or town or urban environment out to if you're lucky, you just go right to a fun riding road. Most of us, if we're in a pretty populated area like here down in SoCal where I live, you'd have to ride on the highway for a while to get where you want to go, to where it's fun. So it's kind of a necessary evil. Alright, so first thing on the highway, whenever I can, I isolate myself from the cars. I'm way over here, because if that guy comes over, well, good for him. Come over and I can just slow down, accelerate, or go over in the shoulder. But I got an escape. Everything's about an escape on the highway. I've got to have a bubble. I've got to have room to maneuver. And that's the biggest aspect of riding on the highway I
I can tell you about. A couple other things, you know, when I'm riding next to someone, you know, about every third, fourth car has side mirror blind spot monitoring system, and you'll see it. I mean, you can think, there it is. That guy just came on. So he knows something's there, but he maybe still doesn't see me. And people, you know, ride like you're invisible. That's a good axiom. I remember when I first had my very first motorcycle foundation training course back in 1982. Yeah, I know, I'm old. The instructor sat in front of the class, and his first exercise was he picked someone out of the class and said, "Go look in that closet and get me get the box that's in that closet." And so the guy gets up, goes to the closet, picks up the box, and comes out. And then the guy says, "How many brooms were in the closet?" And the guy's like, "Shit, I don't know." "What do you mean? Why would I know? You didn't ask me about that." "Well, they're sitting there right there in front of your face, and you didn't see them. It just didn't register because you're not looking for it." And so 90% of these drivers are not looking for bikes. Hey, this bro. And so ride, and I get it. It's irritating when somebody cuts you off and all that shit, you know. And when you're young, and when I was young, I kicked a car before. He pinched me off in a small 2-lane road, and I kicked him because he was going to force me off the road. So, but I highly recommend you don't do that, because it's just you know, I was young and dumb and full of testosterone, and so it's kind of not the smart thing to do. I mean, it's a good way to get shot, number one, or someone's gonna just run you over. I mean, they're in a big ass truck or car, they're gonna knock you out, take you out. You see it on YouTube. I see a lot of those videos where guys are just getting taken out by cars. Alright, so here we are, heading on to I-5. Yeah, it's 46 degrees. There's a guy picking his nose, or doing whatever. He's not looking at me at all. And so yeah, broom, the invisible broom in the closet. It's pretty amazing that stuck with me for this many years. Okay, so right away, I want to get over here. I want to get there. Now I've isolated the threat just to the right. It's not left and right. I don't like riding anywhere where there's a left and right threat. I'll either be way over on the right or way over on the left. No need to be in the middle on a bike. It's not a good place to be. Too much action going on. There's a truck. Why do I want to be anywhere near that truck? Well, I don't. There's a great space cushion right here. So now I'm just watching. That guy's not coming over here because he's a truck. But these other guys, they can cross this line and come over here. If it backs up there, then yeah, sure. They can, that guy might make it. So I'll scoot over here because I'm going to avoid this guy if he comes in. And same with that guy. So, you know, cruising at 75, whatever. I might do a fun, an old one, straight 6, kind of cool car, and an old vet. Hey, vets are alright. Don't get me wrong, I got a lot of vet pros. And I'm a Camaro guy, and so I'm always go to the racetrack with my Camaro, and a friendly sibling rivalry. It's like a sibling rivalry we had in the Air Force between the fighters. The F-16 guys, you know, those are my bros, and then there's F-15 guys, and that's a whole different dynamic between us and them. I mean, we're all fighter pilots, but there's that little bit of sibling rivalry between F-15s and F-16s. You know, because F-15s are predominantly air-to-air, so they practice every single day how to kill people and how to shoot people down. That's their job, and they get really good at it. You know, there's no lie. They are good at it, because that's all they do. They should be good at it. And so if they're doing any kind of long range search and, you know, 40, 60, 80, 100 miles out, yeah, I want the Eagles out there way up high, and I want them to take out the threat in front of me, because I'm usually a bomb dropping F-16 or doing something in that regard. And yeah, let the Eagle Bubbas, let them go shoot everybody down, clear the lane, and that allows the package of bomb droppers to go in and take out the target. So, yeah, we practice all that stuff together. We're operating jointly, especially in combat. We would go to Nellis, go to a red flag, and practice working together, going to the tanker, pushing out, push time, and Eagle guys go out first, while Weasel guys will be out there too, clearing the lane with the surface-to-air missiles, and the Eagles are clearing the air-to-air threat. And then the F-16s would drop down on a low level and go in and blow the shit out of people. Because, well, unfortunately, that was their job. Blowing stuff up and killing people is what we're supposed to do. So anyway, back to riding. What does that have to do with riding? Well, not much. You don't want to kill people when you're riding. So it's a little bit opposite. But the feeling is pretty close to the same as far as operating a high-performance machine, especially if you guys are riding fast bikes. I mean, I love fast bikes. I just love the power, love the acceleration. A couple of significant close calls. You know, when I'm talking about intermediate guys, I'm trying to get guys who are past the stage of setting up cones and doing slow speed maneuvering. Now they're out riding. They're in the maybe they're starting to ride on the highway like this, and they're just a little uncomfortable, or maybe they're just now going up into the canyons and doing some canyon carving and stuff like that. Maybe they're decided to go out to a course and learn how to ride on the track, which I highly recommend. The other thing that's recommended, I wasn't just doing it, but should be covering the brake all the time on the highway. Anytime in the city, anytime on the highway, where, you know, if the highway's wide open and nobody's around, I'm not covering the brake. But if I get into traffic and it's not looking a little dicey, a little congested, dude, there's bikes out everywhere, man. It's 50 degrees in Seattle and it's not raining. The bikes are out. If you're a true biker, when the sun's out in Seattle in January, you're fucking riding, bro. That's what you're doing. I love it. I cruised on the highway. Lots of cops, lots of threats. There's another bike. And not so many trucks today, but yeah, stay away from the trucks. I've actually seen trucks in all my time at driving. I wasn't riding, but I was in the left lane right here, right next to this barrier, and there's a truck 2 lanes over. He was 2 lanes over, and it was a hot day, and his tire exploded, and it sent shrapnel across into that barrier and ricocheted back into the door of my truck and put a dent in my truck. That's how much power a blown tire on a semi has. Dude, you do not want to be next to a truck when he blows a tire or he drops some shit off at the back of there. That's not a good place to be. You just gotta stay away from those guys. So, city driving now. And I'm going to turn back around and go back out to the... So, I always look behind me, make sure nobody's going to ass on me here. Alright, we're heading back. Yeah, beautiful day here in Seattle. 50, almost 50 degrees. Alright, entering on here. I'm looking early. Checking my mirrors early where and how to merge. Pretty good gap right there. That's a nice bubble to hang out in right there. And I'm gonna get over here. So how are we going to get out there and how are we going to get back? And so for me, this is that part of the mission. This is the mission part where you're kind of like, yeah, you're not digging it. Maybe when you're young and new, you're riding, so you're digging it. So it's really just an administrative portion of the ride to get to where you want to go so you can have some fun. So kind of a necessary evil, kind of like, you know, flying instruments on when you're returning back from a sortie and you gotta fly instruments to make your approach to land. I flew in Germany and Japan, and the weather was dog shit there. But like here, this would be a really nice day in Germany or Japan. And so yeah, you got to learn how to do all that stuff. You got to learn how to ride on the highway. You got to be confident on the highway too. You can't, you know, I think fear is legitimate for younger riders on the highway. I think they're fearful of riding on the highway, and that's only overcome with more practice. I mean, the longer you do it, the more close calls that you avoid. Because you're going to have them. It's just a matter of time. I mean, I'm always never surprised when I have someone pull into me, pull over. It's always a merging issue. Like, they just don't see it, you know. So, yeah, well, be ready. Don't let your mind wander. That's where a big part of this whole concept of situational awareness, that was one of the most important things in a jet, is being aware of everything that's happening to you and not getting sucked into into thinking about something else and losing focus. So a little mantra for me is when I'm riding, I tell myself, I say, hey, this is the most dangerous thing I'm going to do all day. I need to focus. And if I catch myself with my mind wandering, or a lot of people have that issue, you know. And a good fighter pilot and a good motorcyclist, a good biker dude, can focus for a long period of time on what he's doing, or she. You're not losing focus. You're not daydreaming. You're not thinking about other shit in your life, because now you're compartmentalizing. You're pulling a drawer of motorcycling out of your life of your drawers. You know, as a metaphor, your life is full of drawers, and one drawer, that's your motorcycle riding drawer. Now just open that drawer. Don't open any other drawers. Don't open the girlfriend drawer. Don't open the wife is pissing me off drawer. Don't open any of that other bullshit. Stay focused on the task at hand. And that is how you stay alive riding a motorcycle in all aspects. You know, you're oh, this is an old school car. Kind of cool. It's a Cadillac XLR. Pretty badass back in the day. I like the look of it. Some other hazards, road debris. Road debris is a big deal too. I mean, I was I've had several instances driving. I'm trying to think. I think I recently had a close call with some road debris too. Something fell off. Wait, what was it? It was someone had a really a load that was not tied down at all, and I was behind him and I could see it, and I was like, oh, that's dangerous. He had like plywood, pieces of plywood stacked up on the back of his pickup, and he just started shedding that shit. It was just like flying off, and people were dodging it, and it was like kind of mayhem behind him. It was on the highway. I'm staying back, and I'm in the left lane watching it, just kind of hanging back, making sure nobody's going to crash. And then I'm like, well, it looked like he'd shed everything off of there that was going to come off. And I creeped up way on the left side, and he was on the right side. And when it was clear, I just romped on it and got around him. Alright, here's one of those crazy merges where guys are coming off, trying to get off, and other guys coming on. This insane merge. So nobody's looking for a bike. That guy's gonna come over. That Tacoma, he looks like he wants to come over. And I want to go over. Once again, over here, as quick as I can. Yeah, Tacoma ended up going over one more. After a while, you kind of get the sense of what these guys are going to do. If you're really looking at it, Dan, the fireman, he talks about it all the time, open lane pattern. It is. Hey, there's an open lane over there, and you're backed up with 3 or 4 guys over here on the right, and you're in a car. What are you going to do? Well, you're going over there. You're going to go in the open lane and cruise. Because the cars don't look for the bikes, and you may be in that lane, but he ain't looking for you. He's looking for the box, not the mops or the brooms.
So anyway, the lane splitting, I did it all the time in California. And the variable, I think, for most guys is, well, how fast are you willing to go? And I would do it anywhere if traffic is like 30 and below. Just rough gauge or rough gouge. 30 and below. Yeah, I'll lane split. And I'll only do it in between the left 2 lanes though. I don't do it anywhere else. Because the people are expecting you to do it in the left 2 lanes adjacent to the HOV lane. Sometimes there's like a 4-lane pretty big spot where it's like wide enough for a whole bike just to chill on that section. And that double white line, cars are not supposed to cross that, but they do. And you've got a lot of videos online to prove it. They take out bikes. But I'll always ride. And I ride here, you'll probably see, hey, what's your blue light on all the time for? Well, high beams. On this bike, that turns on all 4 lights in the front. Because I want as much visibility, I want people to see me as much as possible. If they're not gonna see me, it's because, it's not because I haven't tried. Yeah, there's a little lane split. I could piss this guy off. Hook it over it. So, anyway, lane splitting. I mean, look what it does for you. It puts you up in the front. Lane filtering. So it's really a good thing to have. At least lane filtering. Why not make that legal? Then the bike gets up here sooner. And you're not going to get hit in the rear end, and you're out, and it's wide open in front of you, and you got a big old space bubble out there right in front of you. Look at that; it's nice and clear. You're not fighting around any of the cars.
Yeah, I don't even know if this YouTube video is playing anymore because I closed my phone. I may have shut it off. Anyway, I'm all kind of all talked out anyway, so that's about all you got for the